Everyone. My name is Yodirax Mendez Vega, and I've chosen to focus my presentation on Venezuelan and Central American immigration. This topic is particularly interesting to me as it's constantly in the news and remains a current and pressing issue. Through this presentation, I aim to explore the complexities of this phenomenon and discuss potential solutions to address the challenges faced by immigrants from these regions. Thank you for joining me in this important conversation. In recent years, escalating political instability and authoritarian rule in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and various Caribbean nations have prompted a significant influx of migrants towards North America. Fleeing economic collapse, persecution, and violence, these migrants embark on hazardous land journeys to reach the southern border, driven by hope for a better life. Today, I want to advocate for compassionate immigration policy reform, stressing its economic benefits and the enrichment of diversity while pushing for decreased barriers and deportations for a fairer and inclusive system. The main causes, or possibly the main cause for mass immigration from these countries, is the severe economic impact inflicted by authoritarian regimes or dictatorships. These regimes not only suppress political dissent, but also impose significant hardships on their citizens, intensifying the need for migration. In the case of Venezuela, under Nicolas Maduro's regime, the government's mismanagement of the economy, compounded by international sanctions, has led to hyperinflation, widespread shortages of basic goods and services, and a significant decline in living standards. The collapse of Venezuela's oil industry, combined with government corruption and inefficiency, has paralyzed the economy and left many Venezuelans struggling to meet their basic needs. As a result, millions have been forced to flee in search for better opportunities elsewhere. Similarly, in Cuba, the authoritarian regime headed by Miguel Diaz Canel has stifled economic growth through strict state control and mismanagement. The lack of economic freedom and innovation, coupled with the impact of crises like COVID-19 and hurricanes, has resulted in stagnant wages, limited job opportunities, and a declining standard of living for many Cubans. This economic stagnation has fueled discontent and prompted many Cubans to seek opportunities abroad. In the case of Nicaragua, under the leadership of Daniel Ortega, economic mismanagement and corruption have contributed to widespread poverty and inequality. The government's suppression of political dissent and crackdown on protests have further destabilized the economy and eroded public trust in the government. As a result, many Nicaraguans face limited economic opportunities and high levels of unemployment, compelling them to seek better prospects in other countries. Overall, the economic impact of these authoritarian regimes has been devastating for the people of Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, driving many to undertake the perilous journey towards North America in search of a better life. So, what are the effects? In cities like New York City and Chicago, where sanctuary policies are in place, immigrants from Venezuela and Central American nations often face significant challenges upon their arrival. Many of these immigrants lack the necessary documentation to secure employment, which leaves them unable to afford housing. As a result, a considerable number of these individuals find themselves seeking refuge in homeless shelters. However, residing in these shelters does not alleviate their issues. Without lawful employment opportunities or stable housing options outside of shelters, immigrants encounter substantial barriers to integrating into American society and achieving socioeconomic stability. Furthermore, the conditions within homeless shelters often worsen the hardships experienced by these immigrants. Overcrowding and limited resources impede their ability to access adequate support and services, leaving them feeling trapped and relying on external assistance from the government. So, what could we do about the situation? One possible solution is the implementation of Temporary Protected Status, TPS for short, which is a humanitarian immigration program in the United States that grants temporary legal status to immigrants from countries facing ongoing conflict, environmental disasters, or other extraordinary circumstances. Offering TPS to undocumented immigrants from Venezuela and other Central American nations would provide them with legal protection from deportation and allow them to work legally in the US, but for a temporary time. This not only shields immigrants from dangerous conditions in their home countries, but also benefits the US economy by enabling them to contribute through employment. Solution number two: improved immigration policies. Improved immigration policies can offer legal status to undocumented immigrants from Venezuela and Central American nations. For example, simplifying the asylum procedures can provide quick help to those escaping violence. Also, creating work visas can allow undocumented immigrants to contribute legally while awaiting permanent status. Let's explore some more examples of such policies. Number 1. Simplify asylum process for timely protection. Introducing online applications and streamlining the review process can expedite access to asylum for individuals fleeing persecution or violence in their home countries. By reducing bureaucratic hurdles, asylum seekers can receive timely protection and support to rebuild their lives in safety. Number 2. Increase refugee admissions, support integration. Raising the annual cap on refugee admissions allows the United States to provide refuge to a greater number of individuals fleeing conflict or persecution. Additionally, investing in integration programs helps newly arrived refugees to navigate the complexities of American society, access essential services, and build a sense of belonging in their new communities. Number 3. Reunite migrant families faster. Expedited visa processing for immediate relatives of U.S. residents facilitates family reunification, minimizing the emotional and psychological toll of separation. By prioritizing family unity, the United States reaffirms its commitment to humanitarian values and supports the well being of immigrant families. Number 4. Provide work visas for skilled workers. Offering temporary work permits for immigrants with specialized skills address labor shortages in key industries while providing economic opportunities for individuals seeking employment. By matching workforce needs with immigrant talent, the United States can strengthen its economy and promote diversity in the workplace. Number 5. Invest in home country development. By funding job training programs, infrastructure projects, and economic development initiatives in source countries, the United States addresses the root causes of migration and creates opportunities for individuals to thrive in their own communities. This proactive approach not only reduces the need for migration, but also fosters long term stability and prosperity in the region. The humanitarian crisis. It is imperative for policymakers and civil society to advocate for comprehensive immigration reforms that prioritize human rights, dignity, and compassion by addressing the underlying causes of migration and implementing fair and equitable immigration policies. We can create a more just and inclusive society for all. Conclusion. The United States faces a significant immigration crisis driven by political instability and oppressive regimes in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and the Caribbean islands. Simplifying immigration policies is crucial to addressing the humanitarian crisis and harnessing the economic and cultural contributions of immigrants. Compassionate reforms are necessary to address the root causes of immigration and strengthen economic strength. By demonstrating leadership in addressing global challenges, the United States can pave the way for a more inclusive and equitable immigration system. Through collaborative efforts and international cooperation, we can work towards a future where immigrants are welcomed and empowered to build brighter futures for themselves and their communities. As I conclude this presentation, I urge each and every one of you to consider how you can contribute to advocating for compassionate immigration policies and supporting those affected by the current crisis. Whether through volunteering, raising awareness, or engaging with policymakers, we all have a role to play in creating a more just and inclusive society. Thank you for your attention and commitment to addressing this pressing issue. Together, we can make a difference and build a brighter future for immigrants and communities around the world. Thank you once again, and these are my sources.